Hi, welcome to the show. It's the Jab Show. I am your host, Joe Abass Bangura, and this is your life by design.
More and more people are using Rokel SIM Copper Plus in their everyday lives. Did you hear that? She just transferred money for her daughter's school fees. And this man just paid for some products. Mr. Abu, are you sending money to your wife again?
Yes, like Rokel SIM Copper. Yes, like having money in my pocket.
Excellent.
Thank you.
He just bought some eggs. The world is digital, so keep up with the times. Have you got a payment to make? If so, just download Rokel SIM Copper Plus now. You can download the Rokel SIM Copper Plus app from Apple iStore and iPad or Google Play Store for Android users. You see, it's fast, safe and reliable.
Wondering how to activate your AfriMoney account? It's easy. Dial *161*8*3#. Enter your default PIN or old PIN and press send. Enter your new PIN and press send. Enter your new PIN again. You'll receive a message confirming your PIN change. AfriMoney. Fast, easy, safe.
Hi. The objective of the show is to be able to make sure you are in the driving seat of your life and not a passenger in your life. Imagine your life was a car and you were using it to go on a journey, a destination that you're supposed to be able to have and the skills to be able to drive that car. Would you rather be the driver of the car or be a passenger? No, if it's your life, you ought to be the driver of your life and not a passenger. But unfortunately, a lot of people you would ask at the beginning of the year would not have any certainty in terms of where the vehicle of their life is going. Because they are not at the driving seat, they are a passenger. How would I know they're a passenger? Now, if you ask them just a bit about in terms of the plans they have for the year, which direction they think they're going to be taking in the year, a lot of them would not have any clarity in terms of where they want to see themselves ending up by the end of this year. They wouldn't. They don't have enough clarity. They don't have enough certainty. And the major reason why they wouldn't be certain is because, these people believe that their lives are guided by the circumstances, the environments that they are in, and therefore it's the environment and the circumstances, whether it's the economy or their physical environment where they live, the culture and the way people do and act around there, that's what will determine where they would end up in life. When somebody has that mindset, they are a passenger in the vehicles of their life. They're passengers. They are not a driver. What do you think a driver does? A driver is leaving from Wellington to, Freetown. They're trying to go to Connaught. They already have a destination. Is it likely that they would meet obstacles in the road? Yes, they would. Take a short journey, whether it's Lumley to Wellington. Would there be traffic hold-ups? Would there be reason that they'd have to be able to divert and use other routes that are different from where they originally thought they were going to use? 90% of the time, I bet you would always be faced with those things. But what's happening? Do they sit down and complain? No, they look for other options. Because they are in the driving seat, life is coming out in a way they did not anticipate. What do? They look for other options. That's why I said this is what we're aiming to do in this show, is for you to realize that you have to be in the driving seat of your life and not a passenger. And not a passenger. So what we did, we said, that's why we said beginning the year, we were talking about, finishing well begins with starting well. And we said finishing well, it's first of all a mentality. It starts with a mentality. And the mentality says, it's first of all a mentality, I am in charge. How about that for a concept? I'm in charge. And let's pause. Now, each time, there are several reasons why people would not want to accept that they are in charge of their life. Now, if there are beautiful things to show about your life, they would raise their hands up, all ears and say, yes, I'm in charge. But if there are negative things, if they haven't made any progress, they failed all their exams, they've made terrible decisions, they would want you to believe They were not in charge of those decisions, and it was just the circumstances outside that really affected them. So they wouldn't. You raise your hands up, they wouldn't. People would not want to take responsibility for their lives. It's because they're not proud of the results they have in life. Another reason would be down to religious reasons, because people think you'll be blaspheming if you say your life is in your hands, because from a religious perspective, we believe, no, it's not. It's bigger. It's in the hands of God, and God is guiding our lives, and so therefore we cannot, or we do not have the responsibility for our lives. Now, one thing I did in the previous show, we went through, Islamic religion, and went through Christianity, and what the Bible teaches, what the Quran teaches, and we looked to science to prove that we shape our lives. We've shaped this planet. We shaped this planet, and we've been driving. And like I said, you're not a passenger in this life, you're a driver. Of your life, you're a driver, you're not a passenger. And so we walked through that, and we gave you already all the evidences and references to say, to succeed in a predictable way in life, it starts first with a mentality. The mentality says, I am in charge. It's first of all a mentality. We have to get to the point in time where we believe we are in charge. That's the wake-up call. Every successful people who started off poorly, started off very difficult circumstances, the transition in their life began when they realized that they were in charge of their lives. So it's first of all a mentality. And we said again, it's not just a mentality, but it's a strategy. Success in life is first a mentality, I am in charge. Second, it's a strategy. What's the strategy? We said to you that the strategy had 4 points. 4 points in the strategy. Number one is clarity of the goals. Where am I going? Where do I want my life to end up this year? What are the things that will be priority for me this year? So it's first of all a clarity of goals. Then it's an action plan. A goal that does not have any action plan. It's not a goal. It's just a wish that you have. But an action plan to say, okay, this is the goal I have. These are the things I am going to do month on month, week on week, day by day, to be able to make sure I'm able to achieve this goal. So there's a strategy, there's a goal, there's an action plan, and there's action that is needed. You have to take action. You have to act. And the fourth is to monitor your results, and take remedial action. Four stages. Number one, clarity of your goals. Number two, designing an action plan. Number three, take action. Number four, monitor your results and take remedial actions. Take new actions. Take fresh action. If what you did before is not giving you the results you want, take action. It's first a mindset and then a strategy. For whatever goal you want to achieve in life, you have to have a strategy. It's like a menu. We normally have very beautiful discussions with my daughters on our way to work and then going to school in the morning. And one of the stuff we discussed this week was just what a strategy means, so that we just demystify the word strategy. What does a strategy mean? A strategy is like a menu. And I said to them, I was sharing with them, what do you do when you want to cook a certain delicacy? They all have a menu. The strategy is like a menu. The menu has ingredients and it has instructions. This is what you must do. This is the timing. This is the measurement and quantities of the various ingredients that are there. And so if you do exactly as the menu says, how long does it take you? Somebody would have taken 40 years to master what they've translated into the menu. If you study that menu, how long does it take you? Act according to it. How long does it take you to get to the point where you could repeat what the menu says you would produce? How long does it take you? 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times? It wouldn't be as long as 40 years. It would take you a few iterations, a few number of times that you do this to produce exactly what somebody spent 40 years to learn, but created in this menu. So that's like a strategy. A strategy is like a menu. For every goal you have, there are things you can do to be able to increase the predictability of you being able to achieve that goal. Every goal, 100%. Whether you're in Australia, you're in America, wherever you are, in Europe, any continent you are in this world. I'm not sure about what's happening in heaven. We would get there and see. But of course, God works according to strategy. I could go take you through the scriptures and show that there are patterns. He builds. He runs life by patterns. So even heaven runs on the basis of a strategy, I dare say. It's first a mindset, then a strategy. So now, We've gone past those stages. You now have the correct mindset to say, yes, I'm in charge. Number two, I am now deploying this strategy. My 5-stage process, my goal is clear. I have an action plan. I am taking action. I am reviewing my results, and I'm adjusting where I need to adjust. Now, there's something we need to know that I think is very, very important, where once you begin to run in life, one of the points of transition, now that you know this and you begin to act, you begin to see these results, something happens. People get a wake-up call. Because once you begin to now apply this, whether it's in your academics or your relationship, you're now trying to apply this, you get to the point, you would get a wake-up call where you would begin to see that there's a relationship between cause and effect. You begin to see, I act this way, this is the result. When I did this, this is the result I got. If I don't want the result, I need to amend this to be able to create another result. You see the patterns. And so one thing that happens with people who succeed in life, they build this relationship. They discover this relationship between cause and effect, between the results they have in their life and the things that they are doing that are giving rise to those results. People who fail in life and failures in life, it's the same with them. It's the same with them. So imagine they wake up every morning and they act. Now, they may not have, their strategy, their strategy would be to just wake up in the morning and allow the environment to determine where they're going and what's going to happen in their life. The government policies that are released. So that's what they wake up in the morning to go. But two things happen. Once you're trying to apply your strategy, you will make mistakes. Once you're trying to apply your strategy, you will make mistakes. You're doing something for the first time. You will make errors. You wouldn't get it right. Now, the difference between people who fail and people who succeed is that at some point in time, as they act and see results, they see the errors, they do the trials and see the errors that they make. What happens with people who end up succeeding? They get to a point in time where I said they build this causal relationship. They know this is leading to this. This is leading to this. A is leading to B. If I don't want B, then I should avoid doing A, or I should change the way I do A. And once they discover that, they discover there's a pattern in life that is generating the results they don't want. Once they do, they disrupt the pattern, they do something different, they act differently, they disrupt A, they do A differently because it's A that is leading to answer B that they don't like in their life. And so, once they do, they never go back. They discover the pattern, they discover the connection, and once they do, they never go back. So they brace and they change their actions, and the new action that they've developed that is giving rise to the results that they want, that's what they focus on. They never go back. For people who would end up being failure in life, or fail to achieve any major goals in their lives, they don't see the pattern. They don't see the pattern. And even when they see the pattern, they would externalize the responsibility. They would blame third party. They would blame people outside. They would blame circumstances. They would blame situation. They would blame, even though there's a pattern there. I behave this way, I see this result. I behave this way, I see this result. This is what's been happening. Even like I said, whether it's your academics, across the board, every goal that you want to implement, there's a causal relationship. Wise people see this relationship. They tweak their action to get a different result. People who fail in life do not see the patterns. And when they see the patterns, they fail to take ownership of the responsibility to be able to change those results in their life. Because like I said, as far as they're concerned, it's the environment that determines where they end up in life. It's not them. It's not their choices. Those people are passengers in the vehicles of their life. They are not drivers. Which one would you rather be? Which one would you rather be? Would you rather be a driver in the vehicle of your life or a passenger? When we come back, I'd like to be able to just drive through what happens to wise people and what happens to failures and where the separation is drawn in life. Stay with us.
This is The Unbeatable, with a special message to every data user in Sierra Leone. Dial *499# now from your AfriCell line for the fastest internet and cheapest data bundles ever. It is the unbeatable data bundles. Where we go, no one has the speed to follow.
More and more people are using Rokel SIM Copper Plus in their everyday lives. Did you hear that? She just transferred money for her daughter's school fees. And this man just paid for some products. Ah, Mr. Abu, are you sending money to your wife again?
Yes, like Rokel SIM couple.
Ah.
Yes, like having money in my pocket.
Ah, excellent.
Thank you.
He just bought some eggs. The world is digital, so keep up with the times. Have you got a payment to make? If so, just download Rokel SIM Copper Plus now. You can download the Rokel SIM Copper Plus app from Apple iStore and iPad or Google Play Store for Android users. You see, it's fast, safe and reliable.
Welcome back. Just echoing again what I've shared, that success in life is first a mentality, then a strategy. Another major point is that when you're trying to implement your strategy, you would make mistakes, you would run into errors. Wise people discover the patterns that are leading to the negative stuff they don't want in their life, and they take action, they change. Failures never do. They never do realize the patterns. And to wrap up the show today and to be able to just nail this point home, drawing the line clearly, it's a choice you make to either be a driver in the vehicle of your life or be a passenger in the vehicle of your life. A major decision you have to be able to make. You have to make because it's yours to make. So a lady wrote a poem. The lady's name is Portia Nelson. Portia Nelson. This is a very old material, done long ago. Blessed memory, she's passed on. But she wrote a poem called My Life in 5 Short Chapters. I'd like you to follow with me through this poem and see. Maybe you could see your life and you could see why people succeed and why people fail. And then make the decision at the end of the day. Passenger or driver? Which are you? She wrote the poem, and it says, chapter 1 of my life, Portia Nelson. It says, chapter 1 of my life. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. And the street could mean anything. The street could mean, approaching your academics, approaching your relationship in your marriage. It could mean anything. Managing your finances, your health and stuff. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am hopeless. But then something happened and said, it isn't my fault. Remember what I said to you? Passengers, it's never their fault. If anything is going wrong in their life, it's never them. It's never them. It's somebody's fault. And so it isn't my fault. It says it takes forever to find a way out. That's chapter 1. Then he said, chapter 2 of my life, I walk down the same street. Now, you could imagine if you had walked, down there, in the first instance, and now discover there's difficulties there. Could you walk down the same street again? It's the same street. It takes a while for us to be able to figure out that there's a pattern between the results we have and the things we've been doing in the past. So she walks down the same street again. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I am in the same place, but it isn't my fault. And it still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3 of my life, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there, and I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It's my fault. And I get out immediately. Chapter 4 of my life. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around the hole. And chapter 5, Chapter 5. Chapter 5. I walk down another street. Let me pause for a moment. This is the transition people who succeed in life make. They get to a point in time where they discover that there's a pattern, there's a link, there's a relationship between the results they are getting in their business, in their life, in their marriage, in their academics. There is a relationship between that and the components of the choices and decisions they make on a daily basis. They realize it's not just the environment. So chapter 1 in of his life, you walk down the street, you fell in the hole. The first thing that goes into your mind, imagine if it was a pothole in the street. You blame the government and you blame everybody. Again, this is just a figurative stuff that we're discussing. But whatever the hole is something that is holding you back. It's something that is keeping you from advancing and going forward in life. And say so, but then you turn back and say, no, it's not my fault. Somebody did this. It's not my fault. It took me forever to find a way out. Chapter 2, he walked down the same street, saw the hole there, pretend he did not see the hole, and fell in again. But still says, it still is not my fault. I can't believe I'm in the same place. Sometimes we make so stupid a decision, whether it's with relationships. You could be sweet-talked by anybody. The guy comes and, the same story that he told you the last time is the same story he told you now. And then you allow him listen and listen and listen. And 3, 4, 5 times, the same guy telling you the same stories. And you believe them all the time. And you blame them for taking advantage of you. When are you going to stand up? When are you going to make the right choices? When are you going to say, it's not my fault, it's their fault? When are you going to say it's your fault? And that's where the transition takes place. Because he says in chapter 3, I walk down the same street, there's a same street. And sometimes, it takes a while for you because you don't have alternatives. So you may have to walk down the same street in the short term. It's not the street. Sometimes you can't move your environment, you can't move your house, you can't move away from these people. So you'd have to walk on the same street. But is your awareness growing? Are you being now mindful of those traps that are in that street? So he said, I see it there and I fell into the pit. Then the wake-up call came. He says, it's a habit. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It's my fault. And I get out immediately. Because the moment you realize you are responsible, go back to the top of the show. It's foster mentality. I am in charge. The day you would decide that I am in charge of my life, I have caused what has happened to me to happen. Even where my parents had taken any decision that had led to where I am, to move my life forward is my responsibility. Your story is not your destiny. Your background, your biography is not your destiny. It's the choices you make every day. It's the choices you make from now on. And he says, it's my fault. You've been blaming your parents for the last 30 years for how come you are where you are. 30 years ago, 30 years. Something happened in your life 30 years ago, and you're blaming everybody for what happened 30 years ago. What have you done for yourself to change the situation after that? Then she said, it's my fault. The day you say it's your fault, he said he gets out of the hole very, very quickly. Chapter 4, like I said, he walked down the same street. Now, sometimes, like I said, you can't change your environment in a short term. But you improve your awareness. He says, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around the hole. Whatever this means for you, you have to walk around the hole. In chapter 5, you're strong enough. You have alternatives. You walk down another street. You get another job. You look for a new partner. What is it? What is it? What does down another street means to you? It's doing something different than what you've done in the past that had led to repeated anguish for you, but you sitting down and realize that it's my fault. And the day you do that, the day you stop blaming, everybody knows around me, from my family to guys in the office. If you spend your time focusing on and wailing over things that you have no control over, you're wasting your time. Some of these things you can't control them. They're outside your control. The economy, the exchange rates. And now it's politics time. Now, so those in power those out of power want to be able to say 100% is those who are in power that's causing this, and therefore, and you know, and they may have some grounds in some cases where they said, okay, the economy could have been handled better. It could have been handled better, but those things are so huge. They are totally, completely outside your control. Except you're a politician, you're going to be fighting politics, and that's why your profession and health survivor. The rest of mankind, the rest of Sierra Leoneans, focus on what you can control. Your earning ability, your strength, your knowledge, your academics. Focus on what you can control. Take responsibility. There's a causal relationship. Once I discovered that, it's funny. That's why I got my breakthrough in life. You already know my story. I was just telling people, you know, I failed my O-levels. After failing my O-levels twice, I was working at the Sierra Leone Police Marketing Board, SLPMB, as a piece rate laborer. And I would see my friends that were in school together, I'd hide from them. But I never took responsibility for that. I kept blaming my parents. Well, now the background, I come out, and my parents are illiterate, so who would blame me if I end up here in life? One day, 21st March 1989, I got born again. and one of the results of me being born again is to say, it's my fault. It's my fault. It's a habit. It's my fault. I walked down another street, and it changed my life. You're meant to be the driver in your life and not a passenger. You can walk down another street today, like I did, like every successful people in life did. There's always going to be turbulence. There's always going to be things that you haven't planned for them to happen, you hadn't anticipated to happen in your life. You can walk down another street. Well, that's all we have for you on today's show. Thanks to our partners and our sponsors, Africell, RC Bank, AYV Media Empire, and the LBD Group for bringing the Jab Show to you. Please post your comments on this. If you're watching this on YouTube, post your comments there. I'd really like you to challenge some of the things I've shared. Challenge me on those things, and let's have some discussion. This is what this is meant to be, because ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to make sure you are in the driving seat of your life, not a passenger in the vehicle of your life, and having your life by design. God bless.